Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Quest Me. My name is Josh, and of course, I am your host. And, and I'm coughing all over the place. And I am excited to talk about the Acolyte, episode 5, also known as Night. Like I said, Twist My Arm. Well, this is Quest Me, brought to you by Twist My Arm. I gotta say that every episode now because I'm trying to be all under one roof at this point. So, Quest Me is brought to you by Twist My Arm Podcast. You can find us anywhere just by searching Twist My Arm Podcast. Now, before we go any farther, I have to introduce all the people that are here with me. So I'm going to do it in one fell swoop. Here we go. We got Justin, we got Phil, and we got our lovely guest, Jessi from the Crusher Convo podcast. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Let's go around the room. Justin, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. Been hiking and been hanging out with the family, and now get the podcast.
All right. Phil, how are you, sir?
I am doing really well. I am just off of work for the night, had some dinner, and made drinks for y'all.
Yay!
But we'll
And
get
of course,
there in a
Jessi,
minute.
of course, and we will always. And Jessi, thank you so much for coming and hanging out and for adjusting your schedule, because originally we had planned on doing this tomorrow, but now we're doing it tonight. So thank
Only
you
for you,
coming.
Josh.
Ah, how have you been? It's been a couple months now, I think, right?
Yeah, something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
just been busy. It's kind of like with Phil. I was at work all day and then came rushing home, and now I'm crossing the streams. So
Yes.
on the dark
By
side
crossing,
today.
Yeah.
and by crossing the streams, of course, Jessi means that she is a full-blown Trekker, Star Trekian.
I'm a Trekkie. I like to go by Trekkie, but some people do go Trekker. So that's fine.
Okay.
Whatever floats their boat.
I know that
A
movie Fanboy.
Trekkie is a Star Trek fan. A Trekker is someone who insists that you call them a Trekkie.
There we go.
That's fair. And of course, thanks everyone that's in the chat and watching the stream right now. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So I'm trying to pay attention to everyone, but there's a lot going on. So thanks to Leslie and D-Man and, of course, Ro from Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast for joining us.
And a shout out to my Twitter friend, Leslie, who, because I'm streaming this on my Twitter account right now. So she says, hello.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, it's good to see everyone. It's good to be back talking about Star Wars. And oh my God, what an episode we have to discuss.
I had a gut feeling. Remember, I went with my gut. You asked, I was all like, 5 sounds good. Yeah. I was just going with my gut, because last time when I did The Mandalorian with you, I picked episode 3 and I was like, okay, which one? Should I go 3 again? Should I do something different? And 5 felt good. So I'm glad it worked out. But 3 was good too. So I would have won either way.
Yeah, I would say 5 is probably the best one so far.
It's right in the middle, so you get the climax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that second
I think
act
that was their
climax
plan all
usually
along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Before we get too far into it, we always have a special first segment, and we like to go to a place called It's a Bar Far Away, where our lovely bartender Phil likes to talk about the amazing, ridiculous, and also tasty drinks that he's got going on. So, what are you mixing up over there today, Phil?
Tonight, because we were on a quick turnaround time this week, I found a recipe last night for something called a knockout martini.
Ooh.
Which is gin, dry vermouth, absinthe, and creme de menthe. And I thought, you know what? I can make something like that for a Star Wars setting that's actually appropriate to this episode. So I present to you the Stun Blaster.
Oh, that's a perfect name.
Right? Right?
Yeah,
So this is 1.5 ounces of dry gin. In this case, I used Lee Spirits dry gin. They were a local distillery and are unfortunately no longer in operation. So I actually just cracked open my last bottle of their plain dry gin for this cocktail especially. So 1.5 ounces of dry gin, 1.5 ounces of dry vermouth, in this case, Noilly Prat, 1/4 ounce of absinthe, and I went with 1/4 ounce of green creme de menthe versus the white creme de menthe to actually add to the spectacular green color that you get from this. Between the absinthe and the creme de menthe, it is just stunningly green.
It's very green. Yes.
And the knockout martini is traditionally garnished with a bit like a star anise pod. So
Ooh.
the herb that gives the flavor profile to that licorice profile flavor to absinthe and similar liqueurs. But I opted just for a cocktail cherry because it's a pretty just gorgeous contrast to the green, and it tastes really good. So yeah, this is a stun blaster. Remember to always drink responsibly.
And of course, that recipe will be in the show notes if you would like to try it out at home. Good Lord, they're always just so intricate, and you know,
there's going to be a time where
He's
I
passionate
have
about his
ingredients that I
drinks.
can actually have.
I'm just saying.
Man.
Oh, thank you.
It's like
Jessi.
it's art. I was a bartender for 2.5 years. It is art when you
See,
make
and I'm
drinks,
just a
okay?
hobbyist. I've never actually worked behind a bar. The only time I've
It's
been
so much fun.
behind, the only time I've actually ever been behind the bar is during the couple of competitions I've done. So
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
That was like the best time I ever had. I mean, and cutting people off was not fun, but you
no,
worked with it.
but the
You
rest
figured
of it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it is quite tasty. It is very much a jelly bean, like a black jelly bean kind of flavor. So,
of course, thank you
that.
for bringing that again. One of these days, I swear, I am going to start making these drinks, and I'm going to have to go back seasons and check some old drinks.
I still have the backlog. I still have the backlog of recipes. So for the Gorian's grog from Mandalorian and
yeah, exactly.
So many ingredients though.
Yeah, no.
But I guess it's that thing. Once you have it, you have it.
Exactly. And the home bar setup I have is a process to acquire the various ingredients.
Mhm.
So
Well,
I just got fun.
I just got that Tatooine drink today.
Beer.
The Tatooine dream. The Tatooine dream.
Yeah.
I have the blue dolphin.
Ice water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good though. It works out. So all right, now that we've gone to the bar far away, let's move on to Acolyte episode 5 because holy cow, there's a lot to bring up. So as per usual, I did write my own synopsis because I like to do that, even though they just get progressively worse and worse. This episode, I called it, Are You Not Entertained? Because are you not entertained? Man, the amount of people backtracking now, oh, sorry, this episode is actually kind of cool. The Acolyte might be actually kind of good. Maybe I should just wait till it ends. It's been fun to watch. So in this action-packed episode 5 of The Acolyte, all of our favorite characters are just taken away from us. We haven't seen this type of Jedi carnage since episode 3 and Order 66, but I am here for it. We have some questions answered, but we also ask a few new ones by the end of the episode. Are we in Westeros right now? This episode was directed by Alex Garcia Lopez, written by Cor O'Donnell, Cameron Squires, and of course Leslie Headland. It stars Amanda Stenberg, Lee Jung Jae, and Charlie Barnett. I haven't done that yet, so I figured I should do that now. Go through all the writers and the directors and stuff.
Credits?
But this episode just right into it, just straight into the action. Osha wakes up on the ground and is just kind of looking around and seeing everyone get destroyed. This whole episode was just a fight. This was just one giant fight scene. And if it was in a movie, like we've talked about this whole season, if this was just a movie, then this would be the Act 2 climax, basically, where we get the sweet action. It's like the pod race scene in episode 1. Or any big piece of action in the middle of any movie. This would be that piece. So now we're going to get the finale, right? The last 3 episodes are going to be the third act, where we get to see all of our questions answered. And from what I understand, this is only a 1-season series, so I'm assuming they're going to wrap it all up into hopefully a nice kind of half bow or something. I'm sure they have
I'd hope so. They're losing cast members left and right here.
Yeah. Oh shit. So let's just get right into
like
it.
Rogue One, where everyone just dies and that's it.
Right?
And then we get a prequel to it.
It pretty will. It will.
I mean, honestly, that could be what happens, especially, they brought Ki-Adi-Mundi in, and so he thinks the Sith have been extinct for a millennium. So if everyone just dies, then
it still holds true.
Yeah, exactly.
At least
him.
But let's start with you, Jessi. What have been your thoughts of the Acolytes so far? And then how did you feel after this episode?
So it's been hit and miss for me. I feel like episode 1, I was actually kind of bored, but then episode 2, I got more excited. I really enjoyed episode 3, and that I dropped episode 4 until the last 5 minutes, and then we get into this episode. So I've just been on a roller coaster of like it, I don't know, here we go. The thing about this episode, like you said, it was just action. It was just a full-on fight, and it was like, now I see where the budget went to. Like, it went to the cinematography and the special effects. Everything was just perfect with this fight scene. I enjoyed it up until May and Osha, and we can discuss that a little bit later. But everything else, like we were saying, the surprises with Jackie and is it Yord?
Yord. Yeah.
I said about Pip, because she's like, I love you, and then she so there was just so much going on, and I was very sus about that guy. I can't remember his name. We were just calling him Dark
Chimere.
Yes. But I was like, he's sus. I don't know if he's the one, but I don't know. There's something with him. And so, but the actor, hell of a good job, because this is a complete opposite of what he's been playing these last, those 4 episodes. So I think overall, this was a really good climax to it. And I have no idea where they're going with this. We had so many theories at this point. It's anyone's game. We heard like Kylo Ren's music when he was there, and there there's different theories about that. There's the question about him being a Sith. I was thinking of like, was it Palpatine's master? I can't remember his name. I was like, is he gonna show up? Yeah, I was all like, there's so many things. I'm still thinking though that the witches are still involved.
Oh yeah, we need that flashback episode.
Yeah, I think for sure. And we could talk more about that in a minute, but yeah, it's just there's just more questions.
So did any of you watch The Good Place?
I was just gonna bring that up.
No,
I did not.
No, because Manny Jacinto is just an absolutely phenomenal actor, and he is getting to show so many different strengths, especially like just in this episode alone.
Yeah,
he's.
Oh yeah.
I agree. I went live earlier. I did a little fun TikTok live for the show prep thing, and that was one big topic, was that he had such a wide range in this episode compared to, I mean, from what I understand, The Good Place, he was more of a comedic actor.
Oh, very much so.
He wasn't, very serious or anything like that. So having him be that bumbling fool and then turning around and being this just ridiculous martial artist.
Yeah.
It was really fun to
evil.
see, and it really was reminiscent of Yoda or Palpatine, where they Yoda in Empire Strikes Back shows up like he's an idiot, and then ends up being Grandmaster Yoda, and same with Palpatine. He's the Chancellor and kind of dopes around a little bit, and then ends up being the Sith Lord. So I think he did a really good job of playing both parts. And by the end of this episode, I fully believed that he was a dark side user. Like he didn't necessarily say he is Sith. He said the Jedi might refer to me as Sith. So he didn't necessarily come out and say I'm Sith. Blah, 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 blah. He basically is like, I use this.
This is the word that has been applied to people like me in the past.
Right. And it's more like he's using his power for his own way. Like he had a big speech about, I just want to be left alone to use this power the way I want. And, his way of doing it is killing 20 Jedi in a matter of 5 minutes.
He's the force using version. He's the force wielding version of a libertarian.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
It was a fascinating character though to see, especially his whole what you didn't guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Did no one guess?
That had to have
a lot of people did, but
I know. I just felt like I was the only one on the show to be like, oh yeah, I knew this was gonna happen this episode. I knew that was gonna happen. I didn't want to see that happen, but I saw it.
I didn't want it to be him. Like, I'm glad it is now that I've seen the reveal.
Come on, there's two classically trained mixed martial artists there. I knew it was gonna be him.
That's fair. Just looking at his background, it tracks. So no.
So were you guys
no judgment?
Were you we did discuss this last week on the episode? We talked about, one of my biggest notes was, so Kymir's the master, right? Like that was, I think we all pretty much came to the conclusion that it was either going to be one of the witches or Kymir.
Or him, yeah.
Were you guys? I mean, his line when he says, you're surprised or whatever, I feel like that was directed at the audience.
Oh, very much. Very much so.
Like,
yeah. Because everyone last week, was, and now people are upset about that. They're mad that it was too obvious, and it's like, what? How you can't even?
Nah,
come on.
You're again. Nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans.
I know, and yeah, it was pretty obvious. But I think you go back to the prequels, and it was pretty obvious that Darth Sidious was Palpatine. There's. Again, it's Star Wars. It's what it is, and it's what it always has been. I was pretty happy with it, and I was really excited to see him in action, even though he did wipe out the entire crew. He did it in a crazy fashion.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole episode was basically an extended fight sequence.
Oh, yeah.
And it was stellar.
But it'd hop around to hand-to-hand combat, to multiple people on one, to solo battles. It was such a dynamic fight, though.
Exactly. And it showcased so many of the different actors' strengths throughout, just between the saber combat and the hand-to-hand fighting, the actual martial art aspect of things versus just the swordplay. They were killing it. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I liked even Yord learning how to break dance with his neck.
Oh, dang. Too
soon, man. Too soon.
That one hurt.
It did. All of them hurt. And we'll get into that.
Oh,
the one thing that I really wanted to talk about, because the fight scene was cool, all the fun stuff, but his cuffs and his helmet. Do you guys know what that was made out of? Have you guys heard of this yet? Phil, I'm sure you already know, but Justin or Jessi, do you guys know what it is?
Someone had mentioned it in a chat. It was like something, or I can't remember what they had mentioned.
It's a metal called cortosis. And what
Okay.
it does is it absorbs energy.
It
And
can
so when
it
you're
can
dealing with a
short out
lightsaber, like
lightsaber
it'll
blades.
absorb blaster fire.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like when Osha shot the stun gun at him, he
He didn't
absorbed it
flinch.
basically, and that's what that does. Yep. And then when he hits the
I was
lightsabers,
wondering.
it basically sends the lightsaber back to the crystal and then shorts it out for a small period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was all like, "What is going on with the
Yeah,
lightsaber?"
why are everybody's lightsabers suddenly shorting
I
out?
just thought they were
Yeah.
fragile. Like, oh, bump
No.
you. You're disabled.
Mhm.
No, that was the thing. It
Or the
was
fact that he
was
couldn't
really
like
fun to
read
see.
their minds. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
It was really, really fun to see it in action.
and it's something from the Old Republic. It's a
Yeah.
really old Legends thing that they brought in. So like
you?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
what?
it's from the Old Republic, from the
Yeah.
Legends EU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
old EU.
But I mean, these guys don't know what they're doing when they're writing this show. Clearly, you know, they're just pulling from like
Everything.
crazy spots, but they don't know what they're doing. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a really interesting tidbit though, and to see the lightsabers get like sent back into the hilts, and then
Mhm.
every Jedi just going, "What the." You know,
They're looking at it. That was there. They were so confused, and it plays into the whole thing where the Jedi just think that they're so powerful that nothing can touch them
Yeah. And
until
so for them
something does,
to
and then they frazzle out, right? Because they just don't know what to do. They just think I'm fine. Even Yord said it about Jackie saying, "Oh well, she's a Jedi. She could take care of herself."
and she
So-
could
Good.
And she could, but
kill until she
they
couldn't.
didn't know who they were. Yeah, they
Blade.
did not know who they were going up against.
That was a hell of a trick too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
which trick? There was a lot of tricks in this
the-
episode.
The end of the portion of the fight against Jackie.
Oh yeah,
Oh, where he
Segment.
pulled out. Yeah.
that's
Wow.
I'm trying really hard to
yeah,
not
no,
talk about
we'll save
certain
that
things.
for we'll save that for
We'll get there.
segments. I know, I
Yeah.
gotcha. That's
But
why
of
I
course
didn't want to.
And people that have seen the episode know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But on the topic of tricks, this dude had all the tricks in the book. Just the lightsaber toss alone was epic.
Spinning around. Yeah.
The tree cut scene
Yeah.
was so good.
When they-
good.
When the director said she was bringing back the lightsaber fighting from the prequels, oh yeah,
Mhm.
she definitely did.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah, it was man, some of those tricks, dude. What else? The double-bladed lightsaber thing was very interesting. Or I guess it's not double-bladed, but he split it up.
Secret
So
blade.
does this lightsaber have
Mhm.
2 crystals in it? Is that what was going on?
I have
It's
no idea.
Basically, I would assume it has to, because it's akin to Maul's lightsaber in episode
that's
1,
true.
but just
Yeah.
condensed into the smaller handle.
Yeah.
And it basically let him achieve the Daisho. Daisho? Am I not
Gotcha.
losing my mind?
I think
Yeah,
I know what
Daisho. Yeah.
where you've got a
Like
long sword
a
and
katana
sword.
and a katana wakizashi pair.
Yeah.
yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love that game. That game is so
Just the standard samurai side blade. The
Mhm.
short sword.
Yep.
It's katana wakizashi tanto, which is like a dagger.
Yeah.
Different
He-
lengths of
Mhm.
samurai swords.
Yeah.
It was a
yeah,
cloak
he had
and dagger situation too, just because
Oh, it was
again the Jedi were not
literally.
expecting this to be coming. You know, he tricked them in every way possible because they just didn't think it was possible.
And
Right.
Jessi, I love that you used that phrase because I mean that's basically exactly what he used as his weapons at different points in the fight too. He literally threw his cloak at Master Soul.
That's true.
And pulled the lightsaber dagger out on Jackie.
Yeah, he used every trick in the book for him. I'm wondering if he's got anything else up his sleeve. Like I think the last thing that maybe we will get revealed is that he's not the master. That
he's the
emperor. Let's talk about that part. I have a theory.
Always two there are.
Right. And maybe that's why he's trying to recruit, because he did say, you know, I want an acolyte. I want someone to train, blah, blah,
So
blah.
did Vader.
Yeah.
Overthrow the net.
You got to think that there'd be someone else behind the scenes. Jessi, you said you have a theory about that?
So
hit it.
Like I said earlier, I really think that the coven had something to do with it, like one of the mothers. I think I'm so bad with all these names.
Coril and
Coral.
Coril was the redhead one that carried the twins.
Yes, yes, and then Anasea, Mother Coral and Mother Anasea.
Okay, so I think it's kind of like an eye for an eye situation. I think Quimir, is that how you say his name? Quimir. Okay, I think he's somehow related to Soul.
Ooh.
And with the coven, like her, she would be like an eye for an eye situation. Like, you took Osha from me, so I'm going to take something precious from you and turn them into the dark side, because it seems like this is a whole revenge thing. And Soul was like, there's something familiar about you. And he's all like, yes, there is. Have you not guessed this? And we're thinking it's because, you know, oh, you should have guessed it was the bumbling idiot who was helping May. But in reality, it's more than that. It's more personal. And of course, he made the idea of, you know, what did you do with your darkness? So that's where I'm
on board. I'm on board for that. I love it.
So,
I like this.
I
like this a
lot.
lot.
Something that also furthers that theory, and this just kind of proves your point, Jessi. I like to find different translations. The translation for Anasea was what was that? Do you remember? I don't remember at this point. Now I'd have to bring it over my notes, but it had something to do with the relation of her and someone else. So Chimir, if you actually say if Kamar in Arabic stands for moon, Sol stands for sun.
Nice.
So there's another connection there between two people. You got, you know, Osha and May. They're kind of the yin and the yang. You got the light and the dark in them. You have Soul and Chimir. You got the sun and the moon in them. And then you had Anasea was Greek for resurrection. That's what it was. Anasea was Greek for resurrection. So
and Coril.
Yeah. And so I think that's not a coincidence. You know, that's not on accident. That's definitely
Star Wars is big about their names.
And
with
I think all of the references,
Osha.
With all the references, why wouldn't they have them be related, right?
And it comes back to the whole concept of duality that we've been dealing with this entire series.
Right.
With the twins, with the day night, with the various other episode titles that are featuring elements of duality. That is
the opposites.
Overarching theme of this entire thing.
Yeah. And they clearly want Osha. Like, he was disappointed in May, right? And he was upset that she wasn't the right acolyte for him, but he was more, I want to say, sensitive or caring to Osha when she was on the floor. So I always just felt like they were using May just to get Osha.
Oh,
like she was really the main character. So that's what I was trying to clock. And it just seemed like Soul knew something about him that he just couldn't grasp. Right.
What was the big thing with Rey and Kylo and their dyad? What made the dyad so special? Was it that they were connected and like could take down the Emperor? Like, I don't I don't remember the point of the dyad, just that they could talk to each other through space, basically.
They were
powers.
two linked through the Force.
So like
Mhm.
one soul or something.
Like the yin and yang type situation.
That's what I
Yeah.
kind of think Osha and May are, is the
A Force
previous
dyad.
the dyad that was seen generations prior to Kylo and Rey.
Mhm.
And there's got to be something there with that.
Mhm.
But again, all these different references, like it would make sense for Soul to be related or somehow connected with Chimere.
Soul.
Which could be why they were
Or
playing
Soul.
Kylo's theme
with
Chimere. You know, people were mentioning about the Knights of Ren. Then, of course, they mentioned about the Sith. There's so many different options about how this could play, and so I still think that green lady Jedi person also is like somewhere in the mix of this, because that's just how it all started. They were good people in the midst of pretending to be to bring them down. That was the whole point. They were, what's it called, like my mind is blanking out. It was a long work day, but
it's all good.
But they were just like sneaking in and pretending to be the good guys when in reality they weren't, right? Like a double
infiltration.
Yeah. So, you know, and we've seen this in Star Trek, you know, so it's just like they pretend to be the good and they were really the bad guy, right? And I just feel like they're infiltrating, like you said, to bring them down.
Well, that kind of leads me back to, what if Carrie-Anne Moss is not dead and she's part of this as well?
Because
it
could have it.
I don't see it being possible.
That there was something from the inside, that they're getting broken up from the inside. You know what I mean? Or they're trying to take them out from the inside. It was basically, they're trying to do what Palpatine did, but you're going to see them fail in their mission. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different theories that we could talk about, and it could go either way. I also like the theory that, you know, Chimere is out there looking for someone, but gets found by someone, i.e. Plagueis or Palpatine or something like that, where he's, you know, wandering, and all of a sudden Plagueis comes in and he's like, oh, what's up?
Question for you guys. Do you think they would actually throw in Snoke somehow into this? Because, you know, I know Snoke was brought up, but we never knew much about him. So I wasn't sure if they were going to.
Yeah, I think the Bad Batch was the answer to Snoke, or was the Bad Batch was kind of
an attempt
what they were doing to kind of explain that away, because
so that explains
various iterations at cloning Palpatine.
Got it.
Yes,
okay.
Trying to clone,
basically
trying to have Force sensitive clones was basically
even
the whole
in was it a Mando 3 or Ahsoka? No.
Mando.
I mean, Mando 1, 2, and 3.
Gideon.
They're all
Moff Gideon.
Yeah,
most
recently. Dr. Pershing was the one that was getting into cloning and trying to. It was called Operation Necromancer. Operation Necromancer is what they called it, and that is the Snoke origin, I think. It had to do a little bit with the Bad Batch, and then they bring Necromancer back when, you know, the Shadow Council is around and stuff. So I think this, though, might be a little more for Knights of Ren.
No,
kind of showing a little bit of that.
I set up for the whole Force and implanting pregnancy. This is the entire setup for that.
It can be both.
It
absolutely could.
I mean,
it could be all three. No, I'm just kidding.
Chimere's helmet is very reminiscent of the kind of garb that we see the Knights of Ren wearing.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
The whole toothy smile thing.
What if Chimere's last name is Ren? Chimere Ren. I just think of the worst shit that fans would go crazy over.
What could piss them off the most? Let's do this.
Like last week we were talking about if Coral ended up being Plagueis, she comes out and she's like, "My name is now Plagueis." Like, dude, the fanboys would burn Disney World to the ground.
There is such
burn the
thing.
world to the ground.
There is such thing as too many answers.
Yeah. But anyway, let's move on from that whole thing, because there's a few other things to talk about in this, including Pip and the way that he was used to kind of pull a what was it? Who got pulled
Sacrifice.
He was sacrificed.
I don't think he's gone.
He's a martyr.
No. As you could see in my name, Basil and Pip are on the hunt. Like,
It was a heroic sacrifice. It was a heroic sacrifice.
But
Basil's totally gonna die.
Hold on. It wasn't a heroic sacrifice. Well, he was sacrificed, but it was my choice. Like, he did it. She's just like,
he's like, whoa, wait, what the hell?
Slap. Yeah, he had no choice. He didn't argue with her.
That was brilliant, though. With her, the whole thing with the moths was so good.
And like talking about last episode and me wanting to see the moths, I'm glad that I got to. Out of this one.
Oh yeah,
Justin.
I didn't think about they were nocturnal.
Justin, we gotta befriend one of them, and we'll name it Moth Gideon.
Ooh.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
Train it.
But
I'm good
with with this scene, it was one of the cooler. I mean, Yard. But this whole episode, he was just so excited to get out of there. They're like, "Get the civilian out." He's like, "Fuck, get the civilian out. Let's go!" Like, he was ready to go, and it took, who screamed? Jackie screams, and that's when OSHA is like, we gotta go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so finally,
she's like, she's a Jedi, she could take care of herself, and then they were still right, and then she's like, no, we got to go back. They're gonna all die, and that's where he was like, okay, like, okay, right, I'll listen,
Yeah, but the idea to take all those bugs back, I didn't think those bugs were gonna come back. I thought it was just kind of a one-off sort of thing, and then here we are. I would take a figure of one of those. I would take a toy of one of those. Those are the scariest
definitely a
thing.
Better payoff. Definitely a better payoff than I had anticipated after Soul took down the one.
It was a lot scarier in the previous episode, I thought.
Because suddenly it is actually nighttime in the middle of this alien jungle.
Right.
And you have bugs that are the size of your torso.
Yeah, I was in episode 4. I was like, that one scene with the bugs, I was like, that was useless, but it was because it was playing out for the next episode. So I was like,
I'm just enjoying watching Justin get twitchy about the giant bugs right now.
And it's funny, I catch bugs and I study bugs, but giant ones, no, thank you.
Those things are disgusting. But they definitely served a good purpose, and they did what they needed to do, although Pip kind of suffered from it. I do like the thought of Basil and Pip going on their own adventure. I would watch that show.
Like a spin-off series?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're stuck on the planet.
Like, and you know what? He knows that Yord got killed, and he's all like, now I'm avenging his death, right? He's like, I'm going after him.
And again, Basil, as far as we can tell, is not force sensitive in any way, shape, or form. He's a tracker. He smells well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he smells good. I'm not saying he smells good, because he probably doesn't, but he smells well.
Yeah.
Oh, he picked up May real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's, on the topic of your dying, everybody fucking died in this episode. Everyone except for, we have 4 people left: Soul, May, OSHA, Chimere. That's it. And I guess if you count
Basil.
Yeah, sure. So
Basil will die on the planet, let's be honest.
Those are the only characters that are left, aside from the Jedi and at the council.
Right.
What was your like biggest oh shit moment of this episode? Because there was a lot, and most of them came at the deaths. Justin, let's start with you.
Biggest oh shit moment? How about the opening scene when she wakes up to the ground and sees a dead face right next to her? That literally set the precedent of the entire
Oh,
episode for me.
God. No,
And then I
there's your
saw
total.
that, and that just was. I was like, "Oh yes, here's what I want and need."
Yeah.
Phil, what about you?
Just because she's the Padawan, Jackie.
Yeah.
Because it was incredibly sudden and incredibly brutal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's just
Three.
done.
The 3-hole punch.
Yeah. Wow.
Dude.
Yeah, 3-hole punch.
Overkill.
She did.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here
blade.
with the Triforce over my head and just like 1, 2, 3. Ooh. I mean, it was phenomenal.
Jessi, what was your
But-
biggest oh shit
oof.
moment?
Well, Phil took my answer, but
Oh,
I
I'm
will add
sorry.
a second one. It's fine. It's, even though I'm the guest, I should have gone. No, I'm just kidding.
But
you know what? Next to Jack,
The bad host.
but no, Jackie and Yord, right? Because
Yeah.
Yord went back listening to OSHA, and then when he was like, "It's you," and then it happened. So I don't mean to use a snap, but it happened so quickly, and it was brutal.
3 snaps in legendary Z formation.
I mean, it was like quick and done, and you're like, I blinked and I missed it. And then he just chucked him.
Chucks him to the side.
Force chucked him. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That was it. That was just like, what the hell is going on? And at that point, you're thinking, okay, is Soul gonna die? Because we just don't know what's gonna happen.
Where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna go?
Where are we
with the
gonna go
next
with
3
this? Yeah.
episodes?
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. I thought Soul was gonna die. My biggest moment was the Jedi skewer. I think the Jedi skewer was when I realized that this episode was completely different than any other episode. But by the end of it, I have to ask the question: what's going to happen to all those dead Jedi? They're just there's just what 10 of them laying out in a forest, dead right now.
It's a forest. It's
they're
a jungle,
ghosts
man.
Are we
gonna
counting
do something.
Telnaka? Are we counting
Everything's
Telnaka?
hungry in the jungle.
You think so? This there's a reason that I bring this up because Mother
Evidence.
Anastasia is Greek for resurrection.
Mhm.
Are we going to see any of these Jedi possibly get resurrected?
Oh,
We still have to see that scene
No.
of
I don't know.
Telnaka fighting Torben, right?
We do. We did
That's a
get a
flashback.
glimpse of Chimere healing Osha, though, using Force to heal her. So he has lots of powers unknown and is not scared to use the dark side.
Which
I'm
didn't
very
that's what
curious.
The Coven used. They were using the Force, to enhance their powers, right? And so that's why it just feels all connected.
Everything's connected.
Everything's
And
connected.
Midichlorians.
I would love to see a bunch of zombie Jedi backing up Chimere. You know what I mean?
No, I'm thinking of Lord of the Rings when Aragon had all those ghosts come and
the
help.
Army of the Dead.
That's
The
what
Army of
I'm
the Dead.
saying. It's just the Jedi ghosts coming to help.
Or the Game of Thrones guy, the Ice King, just.
Josh, did you not get enough Stormtrooper zombie action in Ahsoka?
No, I mean I did. I just think it would be kind of cool to see some of these, see what happens to all these dead Jedi. Like they're really just gonna leave them out in the forest to be eaten by bugs?
Chimere's gonna come back and like take care of it. Implied.
It's gonna take care of it.
Jackie. They resurrect Jackie, and she is going against Soul. That would suck.
That'd be kind
Oh,
of cool.
That would
what
hurt.
if it turns out she has a connection to her Marvel Universe character and has the Wolverine healing factor?
You never know.
You
OSHA
never
could
know.
have those kind of connections too. OSHA could have some sort of witch powers. But the last point, that was just a fun little. I don't really think that any Jedi are going to get resurrected. By the way, everyone out there, TikTok,
Of
calm down.
No.
Um,
I honestly think any of the fight that we see with Kilnaka and Torben is still in the flashbacks.
Oh yeah, for sure. The very last
did,
thing that I
man. They
really wanted to
did.
bring up before we get into segments is we're really gonna believe we're gonna like sit here and believe that Soul doesn't know that that's May.
Oh.
I can explain this from a medical point of view,
Go on.
but Star Wars doesn't go by sci-fi rules or physics, so it doesn't matter.
Enlighten
PTSD
me.
skews your acute judgment in the moment and here now, and with his adrenaline dump going throughout his system, he just doesn't pay attention to the details. He's so focused in on, I got to get the hell out of here, and
Big
here's my
picture,
old
this
Padawan, and get her out.
twin, this and it, yeah, I'm with you on this one.
There's a
Joseph.
tattoo on her forehead.
that he can't
Covering it.
see because it's hidden by her bangs.
When does she have makeup? She's just slapping on makeup in the middle of the floor. She's using the Beetlejuice bugs.
Say there's good bangs change your look for sure.
I'm sorry.
If there's one complaint that I have, I know a lot of people have complained about the writing and stuff. I haven't really cared that much, but this particular thing,
She just chopped off her hair and she parent trapped him. It's a whole parent trap episode now. It's like,
changed clothes.
Right, Jessi?
Dude, there's no way. If Soul doesn't
I think
find out,
I think he probably knows.
it's gonna play
But-
along.
He's gonna
have
die.
they left the planet yet?
No, though they're on their ship. So,
Uh,
but
uh,
also Basil is on the
have-
ship, and he's got who
Gonna
knows what's
die.
He's
up,
on the
so-
hunt.
Basil
As
has hit.
As I wrote, he's on the hunt.
Yeah, and
Everyone
Basil's gonna
dies.
get killed by May.
Yes!
Basil is gonna get killed by May, and
It'll
then
be
May's
sad.
gonna shut
And
Pip up.
that's
somehow.
when Soul's gonna figure shit out.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If Soul doesn't figure it out within the first 5 minutes of the next episode, or when we see them next, I might be a
Yeah.
little upset because
No, that's understandable.
come on.
This is where I had my
That's-
issues. Like right when it got up to
Come on,
OSHA and May's
come
part,
on.
it just felt like they were flip flopping a little bit. And I was like, okay, I need them to kind of know where they're going. First, May is like bad, and then she was going to turn herself in, and now she's bad again. And then I was like, what is going on? So that's where I kind of down. on that
Yeah,
last part.
I kind of chalk that up to her being the cowardliest of cowards. Just will say and do anything to just get out of the situation. Even though she's been hunting Jedi and killing Jedi, now she's like, well, whatever, I'll turn myself in and I'll be totally fine. And now that all the Jedi are dead, she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I messed up. I blah, 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 blah. So she's just, like you said, she's a flip-flopper and she has no loyalty to anyone. I would even say that she's,
Except for OSHA.
she might,
I think she's very loyal
Yeah.
to OSHA, but OSHA's not loyal to her. And that's what pisses her off.
Yeah,
and it's
that
because
tracks.
OSHA sees through it, and she's like, "Nah, dude, you're not just gonna keep flip flopping over here and then expect me to be okay with it. Like you're under arrest."
Right.
That's why she did it.
Yeah. So yeah, I just that's this next episode has to be a flashback now. Now that we've gotten the conclusion of this battle, we're gonna get the conclusion of the flashback, and then the last two episodes will be, the finale, whatever. So I'm totally okay with this. I'm ready to get some answers. One of them being, what actually happened with Talbin and Kelnaka, and the other one being, how did Chimera find May? Was he just chilling? He was just hanging out on that planet after everybody died. Like, how did they find each other? And
no, that's fair.
He's one.
It's just
subterfuge the reactor.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't
Sabotage.
see don't see 10-year-old May being able to like hop into a spaceship that
and just
away.
go on our own.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see how they came to be, and then I just want to know what actually happened, just like everyone else wants to know. The other question is what does Soul know? Like what's his dark side? What is he hiding? Because clearly he's hiding something big.
What is the overall secret that all of these other Jedi are already dying for?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Ego. Pride.
Right.
I mean,
everything that the current Jedi
hey, look,
do.
Jedi, here's hubris.
Right.
Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So other than that, I think most of the other things that I had to talk about are going to be talked about in segments. Did you guys want to bring anything else up? Let's start with Jessi.
I think we pretty much covered the majority of how everything went down. I mean, there's, like I said, I have these theories and I'm wondering if they're going to play out the way that they are, and we'll kind of see how it goes. But yeah, it was a roller coaster of an episode. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Agreed. Phenomenal action sequences. Just some of the most intense fights we've seen in any Star Wars media.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna mess up this alliteration, but this is the most Sith shit that we've seen since episode 3, man. It was awesome.
We have seen some serious Sith shit.
Thank you.
That is, I guess I do have one more question for you guys, and it's just a yes or no question. We don't have to get into any details or anything like that. But Leslie Headland did say in one of her interviews that the big lightsaber duel in this will rival the episode 1 lightsaber duel and might even be better than the Duel of the Fates. So, with a yes or no answer, Justin, do you think the Battle of Kofar was better than the Duel of the Fates?
No, because if she's standing on
no,
we've seen anything
yet. Phil, yes or no?
Better fight, not as good of music.
Jessi, yes or no?
I'm gonna say yes.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say yes too. And just because it was jaw dropping and crazy, I would say the nostalgia
better than the Duel of the Fates.
I would argue that it has more plot twists than Duel of the Fates.
No, the music had me in tears.
And
like I was not quite there.
And agreed that you cannot top a John Williams score. You can't.
Music makes everything.
Take the music out of it, and the visual, it was definitely far better.
I'll make a cut for you later, Justin, that has the Duel of the Fates music behind all the Acolyte scenes.
Yes.
Please do that, but
and we'll see what's
all right. Here we go.
I'll do it.
Fight comparatively to each other.
What? Wait,
Duel
what?
of Fates, I feel, was very long.
Yeah. I mean,
how long? Hang on. How long was that actual sequence?
I think screen time of Duel of the Fates was like 15 minutes, maybe.
Might
have actually been
the actual soundtrack portion. The track
5 minutes.
Duel of the Fates is 4 minutes 15 seconds.
Are you corresponding?
I'm pretty sure that
I'm saying that if you just listen to the isolated track, Duel of the Fates, that is 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
And again,
blasphemy. You guys are all wrong.
Do you need me to go grab my episode 1 soundtrack?
I'm just being a Star Wars fan. I don't like you guys.
The nostalgic factor of Duel of the Fates is top notch. Like I can watch that fight any day of the week. But as far as like the implications and the choreography and just
implications.
the oh shit moments in this.
Duel of the
You
Fates.
were two Jedi in one moment. Like he sliced the one female Jedi and then he forced the other one into her. Like
the skewer. The skewer.
Them. Like
okay.
And then
Justin,
the cloak and dagger, right?
Justin.
I don't know. It's just the flying thing and the
Maybe
Justin,
maybe I'm
at
getting
the time in okay, Justin, 25 years ago. 25 years ago, we were all still reeling from seeing that fight because it killed off a major character and just completely changed everything we knew about Star Wars fights about lightsaber duels up until that point. The double-bladed lightsaber, totally new concept. We'd never seen anything like that before. Who knew that was possible in 1999?
I will say we would have not gotten this fight sequence if we did not have Duel of the Fates.
Absolutely. This is a phenomenal homage. This whole fight sequence.
This
whole I'm with you, Jessi. This whole sequence is a phenomenal tribute to that fight.
I want to ask a question though.
Go ahead.
So when you say the sequence of fighting, do you mean the episode or do you mean the fighting with Soul or the fighting that Chimere has overall?
Overall.
Well, then you're comparing every episode to a freaking fight scene.
Okay. But again, as I have already said this evening, this episode is one extended fight sequence with some intermittent dialogue.
There's no dialogue in Duel of the Fates, man.
No, there's not. And that's part of the power of that
scene. Looks.
No, that is part of the power of that whole sequence in episode 1, is that there's no conversation even between Obi-Wan and Anakin. The only spoken bit in that entire thing is Obi-Wan yelling, no, his big no, when Qui-Gon dies.
Yeah.
That's it. And that, I mean, all of the emotional impact is in that scream.
Mm-hmm.
But again, John Williams' soundtrack there is impeccable. You cannot top that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, music aside, if we leave out the emotional impact, and again, the fact that we have been looking back at that entire fight sequence for literally the last 25 years, plus about a month. We have to get past the nostalgia factor there.
I'm gonna literally say this because we were kids at that time.
Yes.
And that's what we're I was 15. So I know that whatever we impacted us when we were children, it impacts us and we carry on with it now versus what we're seeing now as adults.
All right. Contest that argument right there. That's like saying you're a Generation Z and you think that the Kylo Ren and Rey is the best lightsaber battle. Boom! That is wrong right there. That is wrong.
It's not.
Okay.
And I'm a millennial.
It's not wrong.
No, I'm just saying that's the argument that Gen Zs have, that Kylo Ren and Rey have the best fight sequence yet in episode 9.
It's not wrong.
Hey, look,
it's just subjective.
Josh is a Jedi.
I know you're right. It is subjective, so I will agree to disagree, sir. Nothing beats episode 1, Duel of the Fates.
Not even Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar?
Well, that's the tiebreaker. That's 1 and 2. And then it's 1 type for that, and then 3 I'd do a hard this scene then. Because I agree, there's so many great things about it. There's a lot of Jedi deaths. There's a lot of archaic art forms seen that just are destroyed by fluid, uncontrolled chaos movements. Like I'm a huge person into the martial arts side of it, so I saw so many different forms just destroyed by chaos.
Yeah,
and it was awesome to see.
It was great. It was a delight. Like, it was heartbreaking to see those characters die, but it was
the way that they did.
Amazing to see the way that entire fight unfolded.
How would you guys, since Josh is still trying to get back on, how would you guys compare this fight scene versus the end of Rogue One when Vader just annihilated? Because that to me was just as dark, because that was like ridiculously oh shit dark, right? Where we saw just Darth just annihilate everybody the way he did.
You know,
versus this.
You know, as soon as honestly, I think as soon as you start seeing some of those blades start shorting out, as soon as the stranger kind of start impacting the ability of the Jedi to actually keep using their lightsabers, you know some shit's about to go down.
Right.
And that sets up so well the active things to come. And oh, hey, look, Josh is on his phone now.
Hey, Josh.
Hi, Josh. Welcome back to the podcast.
Hi.
And here's the one chambers.
Dude, I don't know.
We already went through all the segments. You missed all of
it. Did we play the bumper?
Yes.
Oh my God!
No, we didn't play the bumper. Who has access to the bumpers right now?
I'm sorry. Thank you guys for continuing to do it, though. I don't know what the hell just happened. My computer just like died on me or something. It was crazy.
I think I sent my storm to you, Josh, because I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that same thing. But that's okay because I'm back. So let's go to these segments.
Yeah. Every time.
Of course, the Starlight Killer scene is the part of the episode where we talk about our favorite still shot of each episode of The Acolyte. So, like we normally do, let's start with Jessi. Her scene comes in at the 11-minute and 18-second mark. Tell us about this scene.
Okay, so Jessi's fight scene was brilliant. Like, for her being a Padawan, she was just, I hate to use this phrase, but she was killing it. Which makes her death so like, because she was doing so good. But what I liked about this is that because she had both lightsabers, one was out, and the moment it kicked back on, her little smirk of like, haha, like her hand here, and now she's pulling some Ahsoka's, right? She's pulling that whole two blades there and just going after him. It didn't stop her. So I loved the moment that lightsaber came back and her little smirk of like, I'm still here. You haven't stopped me yet. So that's why I wanted to pick this scene, because I was all like, ha, I liked it when it happened.
And it's so good because I mean it very briefly foreshadows her own fate.
It does. But I think also Chimere also respected Jessi in some way, because he had mentioned a little bit like, May, you should be more like her because she's a loyal Padawan.
She's loyal.
And so I think her death was justifiable, but she died in honor,
And it's such a strong setup for the skill potential of a Padawan who is raised from a very young age to the position of Padawan.
Right.
Look at what she is capable of at her age versus, Luke, who is too old to begin the training, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That she decided to pick up Kelnaka's lightsaber and take it with her.
Right.
That she took that she took it off of May, who had it, because May was the one who'd picked it up initially, right?
Yeah.
May had it.
She took it from
May
May
had
when
it.
she arrested her.
May had it. Jackie took it from her when she cuffed her, and then she just was like, "Oh, my lightsaber blade is shorted out. This blade's blocking. Oh, but wait, surprise, motherfucker!"
Yeah, exactly. Like, haha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and props to Daphne Keene for just the way she nailed that
smirk.
moment.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, that was a
her
great
grin,
pick for that.
her grin
sure.
in that scene was just perfect. Absolutely
Top notch.
spectacular. Good choice.
Yeah. Before I go any farther, thank you guys so much for holding it down there for a second. I don't know what the hell just happened. But editing is going to be a nightmare.
Nightmare. Josh's computer had a stroke.
It really did. Didn't even say anything to TikTok, just fucking left. So anyway, great pick, Jessi, with the Starlight Killer scene. Let's go on to Justin's Starlight Killer scene. Comes in at the 3-minute and 21-second mark.
Oh, the Force choke into the double Jedi skewer. I flat out thought to myself, this is the most Sith shit I've ever seen. Manipulating all those Force powers into one like cumulative attack. Thank you.
Yep.
Attack. That was so cool. It was awesome. And then it just continued to escalate. So like this was just the beginning of the roller coaster, but it was the first like dirty Sith move I've seen.
It is something that Starkiller would have been able to do in Force Unleashed. And
Thank you.
I love it.
Oh
It's such a video game move.
I feel like Cal did this in the Jedi games too.
Cal, I believe, did.
Similar. Yeah.
He did
But
something.
yeah, it is such a video game move, is the thing.
Yeah.
Regardless of what game we're talking about.
Doesn't
it is
matter.
a video game move to pull the extra enemy into your already dead opponent, against other opponents.
Yeah. Excellent pick. I love that one for sure. Let's go on to
the lighting in those scenes.
No,
so good.
Dude, the whole cinematography of this episode was fantastic. Even though it was dark, they did such a good job with the shadows and the way that they even sometimes the way the mask reflected off the lightsabers or
Did you guys watch this episode in a dark room though?
Of course.
Yeah.
I watched it alone in a dark room. Actually, I'm pretty sure there was a candle lit too.
My 2-year-old was asleep on the couch next to me, but
Nice.
Otherwise it was a dark and relatively quiet room.
Get him young. Excellent. All right, well, let's move on to Phil's scene, which comes in at the 25-minute and 30-second mark. Tell us about this guy. Oh yeah.
So it's a super simple and fairly tropey kind of thing. It's like, hey, I'm gonna make myself look like you. It comes up in so many different things when we have twins. But it's a haircut scene, and that she does it with the lightsaber. The way she leans down prior to activating the blade makes it look almost like she's going to try to run it through her own throat.
That's kind of what I thought.
And just when you realize what she's about to do, it's like, oh shit, we are going actually full on Parent Trap here. We are doing the whole twin switcheroo.
like that's been all over the place. We had it in the House of the Dragon this weekend too. There's another twin thing going on.
Can you consider this a pseudo Deus Ex Machina move to try to wrap up the story?
No, again,
Not really.
cowardliest of cowards. Just like I'm gonna try and hide myself away to get just get out of here.
One, it gets her away off planet, away from Chimere, who she doesn't know. She doesn't know if Chimere's still alive at this point.
All right, yeah.
So away from him, it gets her close to Saul.
Yeah.
It's smart as hell.
She still has a tattoo on her forehead.
Yes, but she does. She at least takes the extra step of switching clothes.
She might as well just
like literally just watch Spirit Trap.
She wore the civilian.
Dude, just whatever. I did like the little haircut.
Yeah, I thought it was very clever. Just unexpected use of a lightsaber.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. Yeah. And I mean, they're twins. They look exactly like I did.
It's almost like they're played by the same actress or something,
dude. And that's something. At one point, I had to just laugh because of like the way that they were shooting this and like the cuts that they had, where you could never see both of their faces at the same time.
Yeah,
ever.
Well, that is a struggle you run into when you cast one.
You have one actor. No, I know. It's just like
shoot it like the Parent Trap. Have a mirror everywhere.
Didn't they spend $180 million on this? Couldn't they like do the face thing? Couldn't they like have a different actress there and put her face
on the freaking lightsaber scene? So they're like, "Oh, we got to make some cuts somewhere."
Yeah, right. Yeah, martial arts doesn't come cheap. That's for sure. Excellent picks, though. I will go quickly with mine because we did talk about it already. It comes in at the 15-minute mark. It is the Triforce of Jackie.
That poor girl.
I know I said earlier that the skewer was my oh shit moment, but this was absolutely the most oh shit moment of the episode because she's a child.
Yeah,
like, she is a Padawan, and for him to just like no remorse, no mercy, strike fast, and
that is
hard.
That is any one of those would have been a killing shot.
Yeah. But he just had to make sure.
Lung, heart.
Definitely overkill. Yeah.
It's just.
And the thing was too is that when Saul was like, she was only a child, and he's like, you brought her
here.
Like, that's a stab in that, because it's true. Like, if she wasn't here, she wouldn't have died, right?
Yeah.
So
yes, she's a child, but you brought her into
into this. Yeah. So
dude,
can't really blame me, buddy. Yeah.
She held her own really well.
She did so well.
That's why it was so like, dang it, when she died. She's a favorite. Yeah, everyone she's great. Jackie. No matter how much this whole Star Wars fandom has, imploded over this show.
Oh,
the one thing has been Jackie has been pretty awesome, right? And then all of a sudden she's gone. So it's like they're just doing that for the dramatic effect of like just killing her off the way that they did, or it's gonna play in somehow later on. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think that might be the last that we've seen of her, though. To be honest, like I don't think she'll be in any flashbacks or anything, unless
she's done.
So the thing, though, Josh, that really struck me about this particular scene, and again, I'm glad you picked it because I wanted to talk a little more about it.
Yeah.
Chimere did that backhand.
Yeah. Pop, pop, pop.
That was a backhand strike with his left hand.
Yeah, that's true.
Secret blade.
And he did 1, 2, 3 before she could blink.
Yeah, it was
with such precision.
Yeah.
That's when you really, really understand.
When you absolutely
not fucking around.
100% have to kill a Jedi tonight.
Yeah, dude. And
he's practiced that move 100 times just to get it right then.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Brutal.
That's what we talked about his dual lightsaber there, and she had him. Like, I mean,
Dead to rights.
maybe she didn't. Maybe this is like a Paul Walker Vin Diesel thing where he's like, "You never had me, you never had your car," but like, it seemed like she had him, right? Like she elbowed him in the face, got the mask knocked off, revealed who he was. Got him pretty good. Like he was on the ground a few times, and she got
I
some pretty good
legitimately
shots.
thought they were about to capture him. When she knocked his helmet off, I thought that was it.
Yeah, yeah, but
then it happened very quickly.
Very quickly turned that around.
Yep, and it was the same with Yord. Like Jecki gets it, and then Yord pops up out of nowhere, and he just instantly gets it. Like
that's it. Yeah. No,
quick
about it.
And
quick work.
Guess who's able to kill a Jedi without a weapon?
What do you know? Interesting how that worked out.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's a great place to leave off there and
Yeah.
move on to the next segment. Wait, I hit the wrong button. There it is. Ooh, it's a new segment for this season. Not new, but we just haven't done it yet. It's the One Chimer segment where we pick out our favorite line of dialogue from each episode and we talk about it. So let's keep the trend and we'll start with Jessi's One Chimer.
He gets into your head and he stays there.
My mother could do that. Get inside a Jedi's head. I saw it once.
I have things to say, but please, please.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
Tell us why.
Chimera has to be part of this coven. Like, where would he learn that? Like, I'm sorry. I was just like, it's right there. It's right in front of us. And when she said that, I was all, yeah. So the coven definitely has to be a part of it, where it's multiple or it's the mothers. I don't know. And I mean, they're framing each other, right? Because May knows something different, versus what Osha remembers, right? She thinks May started the fire. I don't think she did. There's just this conflict. So this was all to get back at the Jedi. And so, but that right there just kind of confirmed it for me. That I was like, they're part of this. So what are your thoughts? But that was just me.
So that, first of all, it was a really good red herring, because right there I was like, oh my God, it's totally Coral. Like that was the one moment where I thought that it was going to be Coral or Mother Leia.
Yeah.
No, it was a great bait and switch.
Yeah, but the more I think about it, the more it's kind of like, well, are they related?
But
somehow?
why?
Is Soul maybe a father? Maybe they weren't conceived by the Force, but Coral made it seem like they were, because she didn't want people to know that she was, knocking boots with Jedi.
I don't know if I would go that far, but
do you think is Chimera old enough to be like maybe an older brother of theirs or something? Like
he's old enough to be a village survivor.
Sure, because they didn't have males in their coven, but usually there's,
they did
in those crazy like witch
in
covens.
The market, yes, but not in the
coven
temple.
itself.
Not in there.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, he could have been a village that lived there, or a villager that lived there during that time.
Or is it like one of those covens that has, one male? It's like a miracle that happens where it's like, there it is. See, that's what I'm saying. Is it like going to be once every few centuries this male is born into the coven and he has powers to control people's minds? Or is it more like Soul, who can read people's minds? Like
sort of like Dune?
Kinda.
The Shari? Or is that what they're called, right?
Yeah. I didn't really, I don't know, man.
This is where I kind of went.
This
is where I kind of went for the eye for the eye situation of just, so, like Chimera could be Soul's child, right? Who was taken. Soul probably thinks that his child died, and they took him to, again, eye for an eye, be like, you took my daughter, I'm going to take your son, and I'm going to destroy you, and he's going to destroy all of you because of what you did. So But he had to have learned that from them.
I am very curious to see Kymir's motivation beyond just wanting to have a student
apprentice.
of his own.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, Justin, what were you saying about Dune?
Oh, as making the funny connection to the Ashari with the guy from Dune being Chimere and the witch.
Haderach.
Yes,
The whole Bene Gesserit thing.
Bene
Okay.
Gesserit. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know
No,
where
I got
Ashari.
I don't know
Ashari
where you got it either.
Role. That's from
Yeah,
Critical Role.
why are we into Dune? Let's move on to Justin's one chimer. Jesus, man.
Was that its name?
So rude.
Cold-blooded. That's all I gotta say. That was just so
brutal.
cold-blooded.
Absolutely brutal.
Like an
It
animal.
just
Like that
proves
was
why he's a dark side user. I can't say Sith because it's not confirmed, but that is some Sith shit.
Yeah. Wow. I mean,
To just write her off by like, oh, that was a piece of
as less than even sentient by calling Jackie it.
Mhm.
Is that its name?
so
yeah,
bad.
it was that. Yeah,
That was
It's demeaning.
bingo.
really formed quite the hatred for that man by the end of this episode.
Mhm.
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure.
No, he is playing it up as a villain. He's killing it.
And that was a slot or sort of drop from his dark personality. He hops back into Chimere, says that
Yeah.
little quip, and then boom, back
Yeah.
into dark side mode.
Yeah, no, he very much has that sass kind of banter mode, basically, that he
Yeah.
does with May or in his earlier appearances.
He's a
So-
prick.
He is.
I love him.
And again,
I'm a dark side guy.
Danny Jacinto,
Yeah.
absolutely killing it.
Yeah. Great pick, Justin. Phil, your one chimer is
I've accepted my darkness. What have you done with yours?
And again, with 3 episodes left to go in this season, we still have a lot of potential to see some more of Soul's backstory.
And Soul's terrified. Soul's terrified to tell his backstory. Like every time they bring it up, he's like,
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And here we see him in the immediate aftermath of losing his Padawan, of losing Yord, of losing everyone else on this task
everyone
force
that he took on
brought
that
with
mission.
him.
Yeah.
Knowing that Kelnaka's dead on top of all of that,
And Carrie
he
Moss.
has,
And
as
Corbin.
far as he's concerned, he has utterly failed in
You
everything.
think
that he
Mundi
set
could have
out to
taken
do.
him? You
Huh?
think Mr.
No.
Mundi? You think Mr. Mundi would have taken him one-on-one,
No.
just straight up?
No, I do think that if not for Osha's intervention, he would have been that Chimera would have been dead though.
Yeah, probably.
I honestly do believe. That,
Oh, you're talking with
yeah.
Soul. Yeah,
With
'cause
Soul.
Soul almost took him out.
Yeah.
He
I'm-
beheaded.
no. With Soul, if not for Osha's intervention here, I fully believe that Soul would have killed Chimera.
See, and
would have
that's
been
my
it.
biggest issue with the twins is why are they even here? Just for that? Just to extend this series by 3 episodes? Because
Yes.
this would have been a great 6-part series where it's this dude going, or the Acolyte going and killing Jedi, no twin involved, just the Acolyte, and then they kill Chimera at the end to cover up the and that's it. See, still no Sith for a millennia. That's still
Oh no plot. Ah,
just one big lightsaber battle.
get away
That's all.
from me, story.
Totally want it.
I don't want you anywhere near here.
Excellent pick, Phil. We're gonna move on to my pick, which I had to cut up a little bit because it was a little longer.
What extraordinary beings we are. Even in the revelation of our triumph, you see the depth of our despair.
Yeah, he's got some Shakespeare in him for
He
sure.
does.
That's
up
that
there-
really
suffering,
does.
isn't it?
He's just spitting lines up there, and
Yeah.
he that's him just like just getting back into the zone, I feel like. And he's talking about, you know, the depths of his despair. Like, he's been through some shit.
Yeah.
And he clearly knows that that's OSHA, and he's clearly going to use that to his advantage.
Oh yeah.
I just
I love that it's made clear to the audience by virtue of her tattoo being visible there on her arm.
Yep.
Like, oh, yeah, no, that's definitely OSHA then.
Yeah.
You know, just
But I think it's also a call out to like the whole, hate leads to suffering kind of thing,
Oh,
right? He's
yes.
suffering, right? So,
Oh yeah.
and he's just like, it is what it is. This is the way of the dark side. And
He throws that thought
continue it.
terminating cliche in there, and away he goes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's about to bring a truth bomb to her life and then try to turn her to the dark side.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what that was a premise to.
It's like I had the wrong twin this whole time.
it's going to be very
Or I
interesting to
failed
see.
and let's try again.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting to see what he tells her. Like, what is he going to say? Like, and can we trust him? Is what he says to
Right?
OSHA going to be the truth, or is he going to be manipulating her by
And now we
giving his
have
side of the story? You know?
and we have that switch happening now with the twins.
Yep.
Where with May going off with Saul and OSHA being picked up by Chimere. I cannot wait to see where this goes next episode.
Yeah, and I know we've all been talking about seeing flashbacks and different perspectives that we saw OSHA's flashback.
We'll have one. Probably episode 7.
I don't think we're gonna see a May flashback though. I think we're gonna see a Chimere flashback.
Ooh.
It's gonna be more along the lines of
How he found May.
yes,
How he knows that whole thing.
Yeah, because the first flashback we got was how Soul rescued OSHA, and so this next one is going to be how Chimere rescues May, in the whole fire and stuff. And did he maybe have a little bit more to do with it because he wanted force using children? Who knows? Tune in next week on Tuesday at 8:00. But yeah, excellent pick. I really appreciated you guys. Yeah, I really appreciated you guys doing the one-chimer this week. It's the first time we've done it this season, so it was a lot of fun, and I feel like we had some pretty good dialogue. No,
and we didn't have a whole lot of new characters or places or anything else introduced this week, and so
and all of our favorite new characters are dead anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Everyone
all
dies.
my friends are dead.
Everyone dies.
All of my friends are dead.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into our final segment of the week. Yeah, the Tusken Raider, where we rate each episode out of 10, and this week we're gonna rate it out of 10
stabs.
10 stabs. 10 stabby stabs.
Out of 10 lightsaber stabs.
Flying beetles.
Yes,
10 flying beetles.
Or 10 flying beetles. That sounds good. Jessi, what would you rate this week's episode of The Acolyte?
Just for the fight scene alone, I'm going to give it a good old 8.5.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. I have been just very back and forth with The Acolyte, and like, it's definitely not my favorite show. I definitely have a lot of problems with it. I feel like at the very end of the show, it's going to all make sense, but it's just been kind of choppy here and there where I'm like, I don't get this. But this one definitely, the 2/3 of it that I really, really enjoyed, definitely gave me the oh shits that we were talking about earlier. So I definitely will give it an 8.5.
All right. That's what we should do it. Out of 10
many
shits.
Oh shit. 1 OSHA, 8.5 OSHITs.
Phil, what would you rate this episode out of 10 shits?
I gotta call this one a 9. This is some
Ooh.
of the best action sequences we have seen in any Star Wars media in the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Since we got
Except for the end of
the
Rogue One.
prequels. I mean the end of Rogue One with Vader stomping through everybody notwithstanding. This is some of the most brutal. This is some of the most brutal action we have seen out of a Star Wars franchise. Ever. It was amazing. Well choreographed. Major emotional notes. And fun setup for the next 3 episodes to come. Absolutely a 9 out of 10.
Justin, what would you rate this episode?
I agree with Bill. I give it a 9. The entire time
It hurts them so bad.
Literally from the
Justin's
get-go,
like,
her waking up to see the dead Jedi looking at her just felt so like Saving Private Ryan, all sort of. And then like she just witnesses the double skewer and then all the Sith badassness, I'm just gonna call it. And like Phil said, it set up questions to be answered in the next 3 episodes. Overall, I do love the battle. I do. It's just not my number 1, but it's still my number 3. Yeah, I got nothing but good things to say. If someone said I watch Acolyte, I'm like, okay, you're gonna watch episode 4 and then 5, and then tell me how you like Acolyte.
Yeah. And so I originally rated this an 8. You guys convinced me to move it up to an 8.5. The reason it's so low, I just can't get over. I can't get over May's tattoo on her fucking forehead.
like I said, it went downhill for me when they saw each other, and then everything. I was just like, "What?" Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
So I
get
mean,
it.
that gives us an 8.75 cumulative.
Yeah, totally.
Which is definitely the highest rating we've had for this season, for this series.
All season. Yep.
Yeah.
So well done, the Acolyte. You
win. Yeah. No, and I mean, not that this series has been bad by any means. I've enjoyed it the whole time. There's been a couple like lulls and maybe slower story building moments, but that's where we suffer in the episodic 30-minute episodes every week nature.
Yeah.
I still say like they need to go back to just films. Like just do films again. Just do even standalone movies. Like who could, you could even just do Disney Plus films. Just release it on Disney Plus, but as a movie instead of as these 20. I think this episode was 26 minutes total.
It was like 36 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you cut out the 4.5 minutes of
discounting
credits,
discounting the credits and the
recap, you're taking almost 10 minutes off of that. So it was like 26 or 27 minutes for just the episode, which, you know, Star Trek at least is getting hour-long episodes, dude.
And hey, Prodigy's
we
coming
are
back for a second season.
Yeah,
Yes,
even Lower Decks had longer episodes. That's
yeah.
All right. No. Give me a Star Wars series. Give me an animated Star Wars series in the style of Lower Decks. Please,
I'd love it.
legitimately give me this. I want this.
I want Detours. If you haven't looked up Detours or seen what Detours was, check it out. It was Seth Green's show that he was making right before Disney bought it, and it looked hilarious. But
no, I absolutely want the Lower Decks of Star Wars. Give me something set on, give me the Lower Decks crew of the
Death
home
Star,
one.
the lower decks.
Give me the lower decks of the home one. Give me the medical frigate from the Rebel Alliance. I will take the adventures of these poor fucking crewmen. Just like
Star Destroyers, Star Destroyers, sanitation.
So we see some of this. That's what needs to happen. Have you all read the From a Certain Point of View books?
Yes, I read the A New Hope one, I think.
Animate those. Animate the From a Certain Point of View stories. Give us, R5D4 revealing that he's actually a rebel agent, blowing himself up so that R2D2 can go to Luke. Give us the story of the Rancor. Give us the story of the Rancor Keeper. Give me that. I will take the one? That.
I'll close it on the it was this Luke Skywalker stories. That's one that I read where you heard a story of a flea that was on the back of the Rancor. It was like a tiny little bug on the back of the Rancor, and it told its story of when the great Jedi Master Luke Skywalker killed the Rancor. Those would be cool. But anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out, and thanks everyone on StreamYard and anyone that was on TikTok that came on over. Sorry about that crazy ending to the stream, and sorry for the middle of the show. But I want to thank you guys so much for keeping it up and keeping it going. I did want to ask, who would win in a fight, Darth Maul or Chimere?
Chimere.
I was gonna say Chimere.
Even based on what we saw of Maul in like Clone Wars, I gotta say Chimere would probably kick his ass if both of them were at the top of their game. I think Chimere's
just had a lot of baggage, man. Chimere doesn't give any fucks.
Yeah, Maul's
that's basically what it comes down
all
to.
The time.
Yeah.
Right. I think Chimere would take him.
Yeah.
I love those answers. Jessi, go ahead and tell the listeners and people out there where they can find you and how they can find your podcast.
Of course. So my podcast is Crusher Convo. It is a Star Trek podcast where we deep dive episodes through the eyes of Dr. Beverly Crusher. And you can find us on YouTube and Instagram and Threads at Crusher Convo. My next episode is going to be this Friday with Tim from FSF Popcast. And we are going to be discussing Gates McFadden and now in her new role in the Marvel Universe, doing voiceovers of like X-Men 97, and of course she was also in He-Man. So we're going to be talking about more of that stuff. So super excited. And then I also have an interview with John Billingsley next week. Ooh, so nice. Yeah, so very excited.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm so happy to see you back.
Oh, thank you.
Like legitimately, I'm so
that.
happy. I'm so happy to see you and Crusher Convo back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's great to be back. I'm having fun doing it differently, like how you guys are doing it with the videos and stuff. And so far, so good. So yeah, I'm having lots of fun, but you can just find us there and we'll just keep on crushing it.
Excellent. Yeah. And of course, all those links are clickable in the show notes. So if you just scroll on down on your device and click, go give them a follow and a listen because it is a good time. Did our episode drop already? Did I miss that?
Maybe. Yeah, no, I did.
Josh, did you forget that you were on another podcast?
I've done a lot.
He blanked out. No, it was live. So yes, it was there. And it's also on any podcast app. So we're already, yeah. And
yeah. Now that you say that it was live, now I remember. Oh, geez.
Yeah, man. It was live, so it definitely dropped. And so I was like,
yeah.
But I did just drop it on the Spotify and Apple and all that stuff, so you could hear an audio version as well.
Nice. I will have to put that link in the show notes as well because that was a really fun discussion for sure.
It was. I had lots of fun.
Yeah. But once again, thank you guys all so much for coming and hanging out and talking some Star Wars. Next week is weird. I don't know what's actually going to happen yet. This week we did it on Wednesday. Next week,
Friday, baby.
We'll let you know. pretty much. Just give us a like
Good
on
luck.
any social media, and we'll let you know what's going on when we know what's going on. So we're gonna do a little sign off. And yeah, so for Quest Me, I have been your host.
I'm Justin.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Jessi.
Yeah, and of course, my name is Josh, and we're gonna talk at you next week. May the Force be with you.